Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to file an LLC or start your own business without using Legalzoom. Now, I used Legalzoom probably 3 or 4 years ago to start my first business, and it was a pretty simple process. But once you've gone through it once, you kind of have a good idea of what needs to get done, and you can see where Legalzoom is making all their money. Because when I used Legalzoom, probably start to finish, it cost me maybe under $500, and that was for the first year. Then there are recurring charges, but it's completely possible for you to do it for much less money than that. All the information that you need to start and file your LLC is completely available online. I'm going to show you the one place I went to and all the steps I used to start my LLC for really under $200, and that's period. No recurring fees every year, no real paperwork they have to do besides taxes. And so the alternative to using LegalZoom, if you don't mind doing a little legwork, doing a little groundwork yourself, is really easy, really simple to do, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So we are going to get out of here, and now the website that has all the directions you're going to need to follow is LLC University, so llcuniversity.com. This guy Matt founded it, and he actually responds to your questions. If you use the help me or contact form on this website, he actually got back to me pretty quickly when I had kind of a question. One thing didn't add up right for my unique situation, but he answered me right away and fixed my problem, all for free. Everything on here is completely available. You can see they have the directions for every single state, and since I'm in Ohio, that's the one I'm going to show you and kind of talk you through the steps that I went through, and just something to be aware of along the way. So let me go ahead, select Ohio. Okay. Now, as you can see, they kind of give you a quick start guide and some of the basic fees you're going to be expected, along with some other services. As you can see, the LegalZoom, right away, you're paying an extra $150 plus the $99 just to do what I'm going to show you. And these things are completely free to do. There's a lot of information in here. I recommend you read everything, especially if you're in some of the states have additional things. I remember reading things like California, Florida, New York have some different rules. Ohio, as far as filing an LLC is concerned, is actually really simple and really straightforward. And there's no annual report fee, as we'll see below. But yeah, just make sure you really read into what your state requires, because you could do everything. If you moved and had an LLC, you could have done everything you thought you needed to do, but your state had one weird thing extra. So first, you can go ahead and find out if the name you want for your business is available. It's a really simple system. Let me open the tab. You basically go ahead and search. So I'm just going to search for my name real quick, and I'll show you, look, it was here. It's a domestic LLC founded last year. And that way you can check, if you have something a little bit more basic like social media, maybe you're doing social media marketing. Well, now there's a whole bunch, and you got to make sure your name doesn't impede on any of their others. But over here, status, you can see if the business name you want is active or canceled. So that's good to know too, because if it is a canceled name, you'll probably be able to start it without any issues. All right, so you're going through, pick your name, pick the designator. Number 2, this is where you got to pick the statutory agent, or called the registered agent. And this is actually where the companies like Inc. Final and LegalZoom make their money, because you can be your own registered agent. That is kind of the key here. When you are your own registered agent, you are going to be the one receiving all of the legal documents that are going to be sent to you. So, any tax files obviously are going to be sent to you. If there's any legal issues that you didn't take care of, if there's any state changes to the rules regarding your specific type of business, all of that is going to be received by whoever the registered agent is. And if you make yourself the registered agent, problem solved. You don't have to pay anyone extra like LegalZoom. That was another $100 or $150 a year to have those documents be sent to them, and they would just forward them on to you. So you cut out the middleman, and this website shows you how. So once you do that, Next thing is to come up with the articles of organization. Now, for these things, there are tons of templates online that you can find. I found one, probably searching for 20, 25 minutes. I found one I really liked that had what I needed. And once you fill out everything concerning your type of business, then you can just file it online or mail it. Now, I did mine online because it is a drastically shorter time. I think I did it during the summer and I got approved maybe 3 to 5 business days. If you do it by mail, you should expect it to take several weeks. So depending on your time frame, just be aware of that. Once you do that, then you will find create your operating agreement. Again, there are tons of templates online. Since my business was a single member LLC that I'm just using, to funnel basically my courses and books and online operations through, then my operating agreement was pretty straightforward because it was basically dictating the things I wanted in writing for myself. I didn't have a lot of other members or partners who were going to have a big say in the day-to-day operations of it. So again, find a template online for the operating agreement and you'll be set. All right, coming over here. Now, the 5th step here is to get your EIN or the federal tax ID number. Now, one thing to note is that if you are a single member LLC, you don't necessarily need one of these. You can just have the business funds pass through your own social security number. Now, again, everything I'm saying in this video, I'm not a tax expert. I am not anything among those sorts. So this is just an overview of what I did in my own case. So if you are thinking about how to start your own, I definitely do recommend you sit with someone who has done it, an accountant, someone who knows what they're doing and why to do it that way. I had some good mentors who helped me through this process when I had questions. So I'm definitely not a tax expert, but for this case, an EIN is not necessary in my case, but I did end up doing one because, as we see below, if you want to open a bank account specifically only for your business funds, then you're going to need one of these. And again, if you use a company like Legalzoom or one of the others, this is a separate cost. You're going to have to pay them, I think it was $75, $80 to get your EIN, when you can do it for free. And it literally takes about 12 minutes, I think. You just make sure you have all of your information together. You fill it out online. I think they emailed me the EIN and then sent me a paper copy, but I literally had it in about 12 minutes. So definitely, this is one thing I recommend. Annual report is not necessary in the state of Ohio, depending on where you live. It might be, but for us, it's just one less thing we have to worry about when starting a business. Now, business licenses and or permits. Since my business is, an online publishing and education company, I did not need any business licenses. If you are doing something more local, chances are you're going to need something to permit something to sell in the city you're in, depending what you're selling. One note is that when you go to a bank, they're going to need the type of business you have in order to start the bank account. And one thing, in our conversation, I told them, well, basically all of my business is online, all the courses and books and everything. But they didn't want to list it as online sales because that comes with a different, some different rules through their banking system. They said, well, if you're not doing gambling or you're not selling, anything but just books and education, then they just made my business a publishing, basically a publishing house. And that way, that helped them get my paperwork through faster, and now helps me, have a better foundation since I don't have to jump through so many hoops. So definitely double check. If you look online, they have links to everything so that you can see, is your type of business going to require something additional? Now, Ohio state taxes, again, not a tax expert. I'll just tell you the way I do it. I use the TurboTax and Intuit QuickBooks. Let me pull it up. I don't think. Yeah, basically the QuickBooks Online software. It's super easy. I connected it to my bank account and my business credit card so that all of my income, all of my expenses are getting directly put into here and then categorized for me. So then at the end of the year, I can either show an accountant or use one of their accountants that they have available to see what can be a business expense, what is actually going to be taxed, and actually file my Schedule Cs right through that software. So the Intuit QuickBooks, awesome tool that I have found useful, especially for my first couple years of doing business. It just gives me a lot of peace of mind to see my numbers in one place. Last but not least is the Ohio bank account. I think that's almost last. Yeah. So when you are starting a bank account, you're going to need a few different things, which if you followed all the directions, you're going to have all of this already. And this was, if you are expecting your business to be your full-time income eventually, this is just a must in my mind, to go make sure your personal fund and your business funds are completely separate, so that at the end of the day, when you're doing taxes, when you are if you're hiring people, if you're buying inventory, all of that can have a clear distinction in your taxes so that everything is above board. And honestly, the banks love to open business bank accounts. I don't know why, but the best service I've ever had is when I go and say, hey, I'm looking to open a business bank account. Can you explain to me what would happen? And they rolled out the red carpet every single bank I went to. I ended up going with more of a local bank just because the offers they had were kind of unreal compared to the bigger chains that were surrounding me. So definitely do your homework. Find a bank account that is really going to support you and support the kind of business and the goals you have. And just some last things here: your business phone number. You can just use your own phone number, which is what I did. Ohio state agencies, just important little things you have to be aware of. This website was awesome. If you have any questions, definitely ask this guy. Even though he's not a tax professional, you can leave a comment below, even though I'm not a tax professional. But yeah, forming an LLC should not be expensive. It should not be stressful. It's something you can do on your own. You can bring your idea to life, and it's simple and it's cost effective, and you can make your the thing you want to build, official. And I have my state Ohio certificate, that shows that my business is an official registered business. I have that right above my computer in my office because it just shows me, what I am doing is official and it is growing, and this is going to be my full-time job as it continues to grow and develop. So that, that's just a motivation for me. So maybe that's something you can do too. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me below again. And don't forget to subscribe. Just gonna keep showing you kind of behind the scenes of my own Christian online publishing and course business. And just help you along the way if that's something that you have on your heart or mind to start as well. I'm gonna show you everything I've done to do mine, so hopefully that can help you and encourage you on your own journey. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have an awesome, productive day. Bye.